Hi guys, I am so glad that you came back to join me for another week of Sunday School. I hope you had a great Easter last week hanging out with your families. I know I did. I ate so many jelly beans. So we are going to be jumping back into our series on Psalm 23 this week. We took a short break to look at Good Friday and Easter, but we're getting back at the study of Psalm 23 and I am so excited. Let's take a moment and let's review what we learned in weeks 1 and 2. In the first week, we learned that God is our shepherd and he leads us and he loves us. In the second week, we learned about green pastures and that God gives us rest. This week, we're going to be talking about something that seems a little scary, dark valleys, but we're going to learn that no matter what, God is with us. All right, guys, got your Bibles? Let's jump into Psalm 23. Today, we're going to read verses 1 through 4. Are you ready? You can read along with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Wow, guys, that sounds a little bit scary, but as we're going to read in a different Bible story today, God is always with us no matter what. So let's take a moment, let's look at a different story in our Bibles about a group of people who went through a really hard time and how God helped them through that. So we're going to jump into the book of Exodus in the Old Testament in chapter 13. I'll give you a moment to flip there. All right, guys, I'm going to read verses 17 through 22. Read along with me if you have your Bibles. When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, lest the people change their minds when they see war and return to Egypt. But God led the people around the way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea, and the people of Israel went out of the land of Egypt equipped for battle. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the sons of Israel solemnly swear, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones with you from here. And they moved on from Succoth and encamped in Etham, on the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might travel by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night did not depart from before the people. Okay, guys, there's a lot in there. Let's take a few minutes, let's talk through it, and see how God is always with us no matter what. So the group of people that we are reading about were called the Israelites. Moses had helped them escape from Egypt. I don't know if you guys remember, but Pharaoh was this really mean, bad guy. And the Israelites were all slaves in Egypt. They were treated really badly. It was a terrible place. And Moses, through God, helped them escape. So now, this group of people who had just fled this terrible, terrible place were in the middle of the wilderness, the middle of the desert. You can imagine how that might be a little bit scary. And they were kind of worried. They didn't know where they were. They didn't know how they were going to eat. They didn't know how they were going to get water. They were a little nervous. At some point, some of the Israelites even said, I would rather go back to Egypt. But God showed up in a lot of ways. One of the ways he did that was through, I don't know if you guys caught it in the last couple verses, a pillar of cloud and fire. So, I have some friends I'd like you to meet today. Can everyone say hi to the Israelites? Hi, Israelites. I know, they're kind of silly. All right. So the Israelites, God made them, whoa, a pillar of cloud. And during the day, this giant cloud would appear and they would know to follow it so they could get to where they were going. And then at night, wha-bam, fire, a pillar of fire, so they could make sure that they were going where they were supposed to. He led them like this for a really long time. They were in the wilderness for 40 years. I don't know about you, but I'm not even 40 years old. 40 years is such a long time. Like, your parents are probably close to 40 years old, and that might be kind of old. God took care of them even when they were in this scary, unknown situation. And the same is still true today, that even when we're in hard times, God is always with us and God will help us. Guys, I am so glad that you joined me for our lesson today, and I hope that you remember next time that you're going through something that may be scary or hard, the same way that God was with the Israelites and took care of them, He'll take care of you and me. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week.